So today is April 16th, 2018, and this lady just walked up on my driveway, and I'm like, who is this? She goes, are you the owner? And I'm like, I don't know, maybe she's with the IRS. And I said, I'm sorry, who are you? And she goes, my name is
Kayt Campbell.
And I used to own this house.
And I used to own this house.
So, okay, you already gave it, but just for a quick rundown, when did you own the house?
I can't even remember. I've been away from it for at least 30 years.
Right.
So.
But I bought the house in 1998, and you put in the driveway and the air conditioning system,
Right.
the French drains.
So I was probably here from about 86.
Right.
To 88.
And do you remember who you bought the house
I mean,
off?
not to 98. When did you buy it?
I bought it in 98.
Okay, so
Yeah.
I was probably here from 86 to like 98.
Okay. Now, did you buy it off the psychiatrist that used to live here? There was a psychiatrist, and he did scream therapy, according to Janora. Because she was giving me the litany of all the people that lived here. Well, anyway.
I didn't buy it from a psychiatrist. I had a friend, Edna Moore, who was a real estate agent.
Right.
And she managed the whole thing. I had admired this house the whole time. I was living over off of, over near the Unity Church.
Right.
And I had lived there for a few years. And every time I would drive by this house, I would just long for it. I loved this house. And one day I was driving by, and there was a for sale sign on it. And I called Edna, and I said, my house is for sale.
Right.
You know, I had talked to her about it, and she said, well, it's just not for sale. She said, I can go knock on the door.
Right, right.
Which I think she may have done a couple of times. But at any rate, I called her up immediately, and I said, my house is for sale. I have to see it now. She said, well, you can't just buy something sight unseen. And I went, oh, yeah, that's my house. That's been my house for a long time. So she made the appointment, and I came in. And it was the same story that so many people have. They walk in the door and go,
Right.
wow.
Yep.
I taught courses here the whole time I lived here.
Like what courses?
Avatar.
Oh, okay.
I'm an Avatar trainer. And
See, somebody said est or something. I don't know
No.
if that's not it.
Well, they confuse the two sometimes.
Right. That's what Janora was talking about. She has these people, all these strange people show up and stuff.
And they would walk around looking like zombies.
And park on the street.
And my students would go across to Zilker Park.
Right.
And do various exercises that I would assign them. They would sit out here on the porch and do exercises. And I think that the energy held.
Oh,
I think
yeah.
That this house holds that energy.
I mean, it's just so unique. And I was telling you that I interviewed A.D. Stanger right before he died. And I walked up to his door and I said, hey, I'm thinking about buying that house. You mind if I talk to you about it? And he goes, well, I could be sued. And I understand where he's coming from, because you could hold him liable for whatever. And I said, I just wanted to know if you use rebar in those concrete beams. And he's like, well, of course I used rebar. You can't just make molded concrete.
The thing that always fascinated me about this house the whole time I lived here, there's three of those
bays,
whatever you call them, bays. There's three of those enormous pillar things that hold the house up. And all during the year, they would dance. They would move just a little bit. Because during one time of the year, those doors would close.
Right.
And the other time of the year, these doors would close. So I knew the house was dancing, and it never bothered me. It just was, you know, an aspect of the house.
The engineer that I had come out to check it out, because I think there was somebody named Klaus or somebody, I guess, that owned the house, because that's what it says on the report. But there was an engineer's report that talked about, you know, it's going to settle, it's built on clay. And
I was told that it was built on honeycomb limestone.
Well, I don't know. I got conflicting reports.
Yeah.
But anyway, he goes through the house and he goes, I know about A.D. Singer. He always over-engineered his stuff. You know, he goes, this house has been here since 1963. So it's a testament of just, it's not going to fall down. You know, and it's built, instead of just using as a subfloor wood plywood. He poured it. It was this spring-loaded black tarp, and he poured concrete like 1.5 inches. And that was the subfloor, which was really ahead of its time.
Right.
Of course, it's cracked in there, but the guy goes, "That doesn't make that's nothing.
Not gonna hurt a
big
thing."
deal." So what is like the top memories of you living here?
The top memories of me living here are teaching those courses.
Right.
I used to teach a week-long course about once a month, and having parties. And before this roof was on here, we would hang lights from that big tree.
Right. Oh yeah. There was a tree that came up right over there where that pot's sitting.
Right. And the tree almost came to the house. I kept it trimmed back so it wouldn't bump the house. But we would hang lights from that tree. And have parties out here, and we would just sit and visit and play with our avatar techniques that I had taught them, and those were my fond memories. It broke my heart to have to leave here. It truly did.
I know, and you left because you had bad allergies to
so bad they were killing
cedar elm,
to mountain cedar.
Yeah,
the mountain cedar pollen.
Right.
2 or 3 days after the pollen would start flying, I would develop pneumonia.
Wow.
And I had pneumonia 3 times, and the allergist just said, "It's just going to get worse. It's not going to get any better. You just have to move."
Right.
So I came home and cried a river and called John, and we got busy selling.
John was the real estate agent that I ended up calling. I called him on a Saturday when I was living over there. And I said, "I'm interested in the house. I'm an investor. I'll offer this." And he goes, "Okay, well, let me call her because she's in Washington State. She's got bad allergies or something, and she moved." And then he calls me back. "Well, she'll do this," and then we batted it back and forth for a little bit. But it was, I think, in 2 hours we had a deal. And then I told my girlfriend that I was going to buy this house, and she didn't want to move here. But,
I can't imagine why. She must not have appreciated.
Well, she had a dream in that she was going to live here because she was raised just 2 blocks over the hill, and her mother taught piano, and she just felt it was like we were going to be long for together, which we weren't. We broke up.
This is such a huge gift to me to have the opportunity.
Oh, you're welcome here anytime.
It almost brings me to tears.
Yeah, if you guys want to come back, I mean, from California and stay in the spare bedroom.
I just he's visiting.
Right.
Right now, I'm living in Somerville.
California.
I'm basically Somerville, Texas.
Oh, okay. You moved back from California, or I don't know where you were living, but
I just survived 11 years of cancer treatment.
Oh, okay.
And you're not going to believe this, but I am currently homeless because of all of the expense of all that treatment.
Right.
So I have a very dear friend who was actually one of my students that I taught in this very house.
Right.
Who owns a property in Somerville, and she offered for me to live there free.
Nice.
So that's why I'm living in Somerville.
I mean, I like you a lot, and I would invite you back.
If you invited me to come back and stay here, I would think I had died and gone to heaven.
Right.
I've got to get your information, and you've got to
we'll
get
exchange
mine.
info for sure. Well, you probably know that the house is worth a fortune at this point.
I would imagine it would be, I don't know, what, $700,000-800,000?
At least, yeah. And I debate selling it and moving. My plan was to move into my duplex around the corner that I upgraded, and everybody goes, "Paul, you're never gonna move here. You love this place."
Yeah. There's just nothing like it on the planet.
There is. There's one other house that he built, which is the exact copy of this. It's over in Rollingwood.
I never knew that.
And it's built the exact same way. I mean, it was all hollow underneath.
Yeah.
And that one is all hollow underneath. I mean, they put some storage sheds, but it was the psychiatrist that lived there that filled in these bays.
This house is in a park.
Yeah.
A beautiful park with a brook running through it.
I know.
Where do you get that?
Yeah.
Where else do you get that?
Right.
You just, and I see you added these, I don't know, I don't think those stairs were there when I had this place.
I think there were. Yeah, there were stairs.
So anyway, you built all this in. And,
This was all here. That was there. All that that
The hot
stone
tub was
stuff.
here?
No, I put that in. I put all that in down there. That deck. I put that deck in in about 4 hours with my friend. And then I got the hot tub and blah blah blah. But I try not to modify it. I was told really not to modify the house. Like all that cedar shingle on the side, it says don't tear it down, just leave it up.
Leave it, yeah.
Leave everything. And I was getting ready to remodel the house and the kitchens and the bathrooms, which I'll probably end up doing the bathrooms. And I said, no, I just don't want to do it. I'm just gonna. I already did it once, but it's old.
What color was it when you got it?
Battleship gray, blue.
Yeah, that was my color.
Yeah.
That was the color I
Well, this is
painted
my
it.
favorite, green. And we did the green and the white. It was painted differently. I painted it twice, but that's a whole nother story about that. But
I'm kind of, this is so much deja vu, I can hardly take it.
Well, I was getting ready. I go, oh no, I have to talk to this lady, and I'm just glad. Let me just see here. There's your letter to me. You wrote me a letter. There it is. May 27, 1998. It's all your contacts and stuff.
List of contractors. Away with soot chimney cleaners. Jim Connolly, masonry. He's the one that helped with the retaining walls and the driveway. He's the one, oh, Lloyd Rigney. He's the one that helped with the French drain downstairs. I put so much money into this house. I loved it so much. I put most of my income into this house when I lived here.
Well, I put a lot of money into it too.
I built in the room in the center downstairs. I hired professionals to do the plumbing and the electrical. I don't have those records.
Yeah, right.
That's very
There you
cool.
go.
I wrote you a letter.
There you go.
And that
This is it. If you enjoy the house even partially as much as I did, you're going to love living here. Well, I do.
I found it to be a very sweet house in a perfect location.
I gotta ask you though, the house did talk to you, right? Like at night you hear the popping. What the hell is all that?
The dancing.
The dancing. It's just the dancing going on. Because I'm like, is the roof gonna...
So I guess in a way it kind of dances and sings.
Yeah.
The popping and the...
You know, as somebody said, the house is falling, and it's not falling. It's just... There'd be cracks all over the place. There's nothing.
And the dancing is so gentle and so gradual.
Yeah, and then it just goes back to what it was.
I mean, it's not like I'm laying in bed and feel it do that. That's not it at all.
I tried, and I should have ascertained with A.D. Stenger, the guy that built it, like, how did you found, I mean, how far did you go in the ground to put these things? He told me how he did it. He formed them all down there by the lake.
Yeah.
And had a truck bring them up and lower them in.
Stand them up, yeah. It's the most, even though it's movable, it's the most secure, steady house I've ever lived in. I mean, no matter what. We had some horrendous storms when I was here, and this house was just steady. Nothing moved.
That metal roof was really, really good. And the guys came up to me. Well, you know, they're all Mexican guys and stuff. Yeah. And he came up to me and goes, you know, I really enjoyed doing your house. It was, he goes, it's so unique, and we had to do so many different cuts and things. But
do you still, do people still walk in the front door and go, wow?
All the time.
Every time somebody walks in?
I just hired a new dog walking girl.
Yeah.
She came in Friday, and she goes, I love A-frames. Thank you so much for building it. Or something. I said, dear, this house was built in 1963. But I have a lot of fires.
This fireplace with my students, and we would talk, and I would give lectures. This is new. This was not here.
My buddy built that, as well as he did the whole kitchen. You know, we tore all that out and stuff. But those are all the same cabinets. I think you put those in, right?
That was the master bedroom.
Right.
And that was Jonathan's room, the guest room.
Right.
I like the way you've arranged it. It's very nice.
Well, I hired a girl to come over, and I said, she goes, dude, you're living like a bachelor. You got to change this up. So she told me like all the furniture to buy, and we're just trying to go more and more minimalistic. And that girl Leah downstairs, she did a lot of this. She's like, you need to get some new furniture.
Yeah.
different artwork and
Kind of make it look like it's